Okay, so now we talked about our networking service with Singleton pattern. Now let's go ahead and let's actually create it, right? So yeah, this right here. And now I'm going ahead and compiling it. I created just an empty project and named it networking service Singleton pattern, right? And it's taking its time to build. As you can see, it's supposed to have this hello world right there in the middle of it as well. So yeah, this thing is like kind of slow as shit. There we go. Here we are. Okay. So now that's working, right? Let's go ahead and let's actually just get busy. Um so one thing I want to do is when you're making network, when you're making an API call, right, you got to be able to come out, and you have something that kind of inhibits your ability to make API calls, that especially if they aren't um secured, right? So let's go here. In UI kit, you call it your info.p list, but right here, info, I'm sorry, general, I believe it is. Give me a second. We say general info, right? Yeah. So we have yeah, this is the equivalent of our info.p list, I believe. Yes, right. And so right, info.p list. So resume. So the first thing we're gonna do is um we're gonna address our app transport situation. So we're gonna go to here. We have click on our targets, info, and we need the app transport. We're gonna add a key to this, right? Let me see something. Add. Oh my god. Bundle. App transport security app transport security settings, right? Okay, did that, and then I'm going to add allow arbitrary loads, right? And I'm going to make this a yes. Okay, so now we have this. So now whenever we make an API call, this goes through, this will go through, and for now we don't need this to be secured. Okay, all right, so we have that working, and as you see, we have this app transport security settings allows arbitrary loads. Yes. All right. Okay. Okay, so that reflects our change. Yeah, so this is very different from how or pretty different from how Xcode used to do this. um with UI kit, but what the heck, right? Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's get busy doing a few other things, right? So let's see. What I'm going to do is I need to create different groups, right? So I'm gonna put this right here. And within this, I have a new group. I'm gonna have a group called views, right? And these will be our views, like our content view belongs in here. Okay. This is where our content view will go. Okay. And of course, this should still compile and we'll still be all good. Right. And yeah, we have no error. Okay, good. For once, Xcode is not giving me crap, right? Well, it gave me a little crap for a split second, right? Okay, cool, 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 cool. Let's go ahead and let's see. I'm also gonna have a few other groups in here. I'm gonna have models, okay, because we're gonna have some models. We're gonna have another group. We're gonna have these called protocols, okay. Total protocols, okay. So we have views, models, protocols. We're gonna have another one, networking service. A new group, networking service. Okay, views, models, protocols, networking service, and I'm gonna have another one called utilities. Okay, utilities. All right. So yeah, and let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. So let's go ahead and let's start dealing with creating a networking service, okay? So let's see. I'm going to create a file, which is a regular Swift file. We're going to call it networking service. Service. Okay. Now, in this networking service, I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do like a basic networking service. And one more thing, let's go ahead and let's create. Um, we're gonna create another file called acronym object. It's gonna be our model. Okay. Now, I have gotten into teaching people how to use Codable and how to create custom objects using your data model, Codable, type alias, and things to that effect. Again, that's all on another video. But for now, we're not going to do that. Okay. I'm going to have, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a direct template for this model. So let me just go ahead and get the model designed up for you, and I'm going to explain what it does. Okay. So now, if you've been following some of my other tutorials, you'll recognize this from one of the lessons in the UI kit where I discussed making API calls and networking service using UI kit. Okay. But now we're doing this in Swift UI. We're going to do using the same data model, same API call. Okay. But we're using Swift UI, not UI kit. So we're creating an acronym object, and let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. Networking service. So let me see. Okay. And so now, networking service, we're going to create a class called networking service. Class networking service. Okay. Networking service. Okay. And now, in this networking service, we're going to have a private let session is of type URL. URL session, okay, init, right? URL session, and we have a default value is equal to dot shared, okay? Right, boom, boom, boom. This is all done, okay, good. Now, what we need to do is static let shared, static, this is gonna be a static variable, static let shared. Why? Because this is a singleton. That's what a singleton is. And another thing too is we've also previously covered singletons in UI kit, but again, this is Swift UI, and we're gonna have there's a few more other things that we're going on here. Okay, so let shared equal networking service, right? Session right? Dot shared. So we're looking right there. We go. We created instance within our object, right? And now let's go ahead and create this function. Static. Well, not static. We don't need it. Right. Func. I'm gonna say fetch acronym data. FET. Fetch acronym data, right? Value is of type string. This is what we're gonna pass to it, right? From our text field. Okay. Completion. Completion. And this is escaping closure at escaping, right? Stop it. Okay, escaping result type, right? Acronym data, acronym object, right? Which is what we just put in here, right? Acronym object and error, right? So I decided not to create custom error for this. Save time and a little bit bandwidth for me, right? Okay. All right. So now we have this. Let's see, make sure that yes, that okay, all that's done right. Okay. Cool. So now we have our singleton, our networking service. Right. So now let's go ahead and let's get down to business. All right, let's say guard. I'm gonna have a guard statement that checks that we're passing everything that we want, right? Okay, guard let request. Let me see something. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. Okay, guard let request equal URL, and we have a string in this thing, right? And oh, by the way, let's do something else. I need to make some constants, okay? Now, let me do those real quick and I'm going to show you what's going on. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to go into utilities and add this. This is a struct with a static property that is a string, right? Static let, which is a type string, which is the URL, and part of the query string, the key, not the value. We will add that on. Now remember, in a real app, I'm not going to do it this way, right? I'm Jimmy rigging it because I just want to pass a URL string, okay? All right, yeah, so now we're here and URL string. So I should say URL component constants, URL component right? Component constants. Go back here. URL. Not URL. COMPO component constants right here. Dot full URL, right? And that's how that should work, right? Right. Plus value. Okay. Else, right? Return. Right? Right? And then we're gonna do this. Completion. Because if this doesn't work, then let's see, failure, right? In as error, right? In as error. Domain, right? Domain is networking service. Networking service. And the code is 0. This is just stuff, just filler for now, right? Okay. User info, right, is NS localized description key, NS localized description key, right? And this should say invalid URL. Okay, that's what we're gonna say right for now. Invalid URL, right? And what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Okay. Okay, invalid URL. And yeah, I think we're good. Okay, and just for 1 second, I'm gonna say print URL. Print no URL. No URL available. But I know that there is going to be a URL, right? And so now that I have this, request was never used. Of course, but request will be used, right? Let task equal let task equal session. Oh man, I hate when this does this. Session dot data task with request, right? Not with completion. Data task with request, right? You know something? Data task with request, right? Completion handler. There you go. And we have data response. Response error. Just have to get my visceral anger. I get mad at the IDE sometimes, killing me. Let's see. So now I'm gonna check for if there's an error. If let me see, not if let error equals error. That means if there's an error, right? Then I'm gonna say completion dot failure, because we're dealing with a result type. Again, I've already explained result types to you guys, right? For those of us who don't have it, you should probably go back and watch an earlier video. Return. All right, now we have this. Okay, we're gonna say guard let data equal data else. Okay, and now we gotta know, we're testing to see if there's data there. Okay, of course, if there isn't, we're gonna say we failure. Okay, in as error, right? Domain, right? And domain is networking service. I'm gonna copy this up here. Actually, I'm gonna copy all this, right? Failure as error. Copy this. C, right? I'm gonna go right here to failure. V, right? And right. Let me just double check. Completion. Correlate data. Else. Okay. Okay. Turn. Right. Okay. And this should not say, should just say invalid data. Okay. And networking servers, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So now we have data. Return. And now let's go ahead and let's do our decoding from this networking service. So I'm going to say, and again, I've discussed decoding with you guys. Right. So let's see. Catch. Okay. So now we're here. Let decoder equal JSON decoder. All right. And then we're going to say let acronym object ACRONYMOBJECT acronym object equal try decoder dot decode, right? Acronym object object dot self, right? And data, right? That's where we're getting our data from right there, right? And now we should be able to say completion dot successful, right? Because that's what happens in this block. Success. Completion successful. And it should be acronym object, right? This should be passed here if it's successful. Otherwise, completion dot failure, right? And this should receive an error. This block should always have error. Okay. And that's what happens in this block right here. And guess what? Um, everything is pretty much done here. But I need to go and find where this is, right? Boom. Okay. 45, right? 45. 1, 2, after 1, 2, 3. Okay, I believe this should be it, right? I should say task dot resume. You must say task dot resume. Okay? Because if you don't, guess what happens, bro? This does not completely run. Okay, this is not run. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is um let's test it, right? And how you test it is we're going to go here into our views, content view right here. Um, and what I want to do is just just create an instance of the networking service. That's it. Now, let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna go here real quick. So now, for the sake of demonstration, we're gonna get we're going to get the Singleton pulling data from um from the API call, right? But this isn't how necessarily how we're gonna do it in the real world, okay? But we're gonna do this just so you see the Singleton working, right? Basic functionality. Then you have to see it done. I mean, just basic functionality, but then you have to see it implemented the correct way. Okay. So here we go. Again, this is the fundamentals of just using this singleton. I'm in Swift UI at state, right? Private var. Oh, why did this do that? Var. Why? What is going on? Var. Ah. Acronym object. Right. Okay. Okay. And then again, add state. Right. Okay. Oh my God. One thing about this thing, it takes a very long time for it to like private let net private let networking service equal networking service dot shared. Okay. All right. So now we have this, right? Um, so now I have these variables, with the state wrapper around it, acronym data. That means that you know, this means that Switch UI is monitoring the changes taking place in these, right? Um, this view is monitoring it. And so now I've also created an instance of my networking service, right? Which is the same instance that anyone's gonna be able to access, right? Because there's only one instance at a time. So now, networking service, and now, let's see. if I can- Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to create another function. Okay, it's going to be called. It's going to it's going to be a function within content view struct. It's going to be called um, fetch acronym data. Okay, and it'll be a private func because we're going to use it outside of it. Private func fetch acronym data. Okay. All right. We have that. And so now is loading equals true. Okay. And you're gonna find out why I'm doing that. Networking service dot fetch acronym data, right? And the value is AL. That's just the test data we're using. Okay. Go here, return, okay. And I'm just gonna say result, right? Right. Okay, result in. Okay, and let me move this over here. Okay, that looks better. Of course, dispatch. I gotta put this on the main thread. Dispatch queue. Dispatch queue dot main dot async, right? Right. Self dot is loading equals false, right? And then we'll say switch right? Result switch results case dot success. Let's acronym object acronym. Okay, let acronym object. Okay. Right is self dot acronym data equal acronym object. Okay. And then let's say case dot failure, right? You gotta have a case dot failure, right? Let's error, right? Colon, right? I'm just gonna say print, right? There was an error. There was an error. Okay, immutable error was never used. Okay, whatever. So we'll stop getting this warning here. Okay. Okay. So now we have this. And yeah, we have that. And so we have this function done. So now when I go back up here, I'm going to modify some of this, right? We have a VStack image. I'm going to get rid of this, right? All this stuff inside this VStack. And let's go ahead and change this to be something that we if let's data equals data, right? And then I'm going to say, something. Text. I just want to test to see if we're getting back information. Okay. Abbreviation. Right. Abbreviation. Okay. We're gonna say data dot abbreviation. Let's see data. What? Dot. Um. Give me a second. Okay. Let data equal acronym. I'll just say data dot count because I'm not trying to find any major. I'm not trying to print out all of the functionality. I just want to show that there's something there, right? Right. And let's see text. Just gonna say no data. No data, right? And you know what else I want to do? I want to print acronym object. I'm also going to say I'm going to print C okay ACR acronym object. Print acronym object. Print acronym object. Yeah. And so we have this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a button, BU button. And this button is going to have an action, right? An action, right? And right. And right. And say text fetch data, FETCH data. Right. Okay. Okay. And now self dot fetch. We're going to say self dot fetch acronym data. And let's go ahead and put a little bit of padding. Let's see, padding. Nothing. Dot disabled. Disabled is loading. Dot opacity. Okay, is loading. So if this is true, then we're gonna say 0.5, right? Otherwise, it's a full 100%. Okay, that's how ternary operators work. And let's go ahead and let's hurry up. Okay, so I have this. I'm gonna say fetch data. And of course, this is our object. So our singleton works, right? Our singleton works. And yes, there's only one count in there. But it printed everything, um, everything that was part of it. But of course, this isn't how I want it to finish, but just to show you that something is coming back. So the singleton works. But however, we got a lot of work to do. We have our singleton working in Swift UI, but this is not the proper way you implement it so that it is maintainable and it adheres to good design principles. Okay. So as well as we need to we can't instantiate it inside of the view. You know, we have to use our um our networking service provider. Okay. And so yeah, on to the next.